There's a good chance you'll die without ever living your actual life. And it won't be because you didn't try hard enough. It'll be because you were never really here. You'll rush through decades chasing someday, only to realize peace was never in the future. It was hidden in the moment you were always trying to skip. This is a letter to the version of me that didn't know that yet. Dear younger me, you're going to spend years sprinting through your own life, waking up with your mind already racing, eating meals without tasting them, nodding through conversations while planning the next thing. You'll be admired for your drive, rewarded for your ambition. But inside, something will always feel missing, and you won't know why. You'll assume the answer is more goals, more control, more structure, more success. But what you'll learn, too late for some moments, just in time for others, is that the real answer was never more. It was less. Less noise, less rushing, less living in a version of life that only exists in your head. There's a Stoic named Seneca you'll meet later in life. He'll say something that seems simple at first. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. You'll dismiss it the first time. You'll think, that's poetic, but not practical. But then you'll find yourself successful, tired, respected, numb. You'll have everything you thought you needed, and still feel like you're missing the point. That's when Seneca's words will stop being philosophy. They'll become a lifeline. You'll begin to realize you've been planning your life to death. That every time you say, just get through today, you're voting against your own existence. You were told to always think ahead. So you did. But no one told you that too much future is a form of self-abandonment. Seneca wrote, putting things off is the biggest waste of life. It denies us the present by promising the future. The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. Live immediately. You'll realize that most people you know are waiting to live. Waiting for the promotion, the house, the vacation, the right mood. And they call that life. You did too. You thought presence was a luxury. Something you could earn once the checklist was complete. But presence is not a reward. It's a choice. One you can make even on an ordinary Tuesday, when no one is watching and nothing is finished. I remember the first night I truly understood it. I was alone. The world was quiet. No notifications, no expectations. I sat in silence, not trying to change anything. And I asked myself, did I live today? I didn't. Not because the day was bad, but because I wasn't there for it. And that's when it hit me. This isn't just about being mindful. It's about whether you're going to be here for your own life or not. Seneca wasn't offering comfort. He was issuing a warning. You're not guaranteed another morning. So stop preparing to live. Start actually living. You'll realize the price of constantly chasing the next moment is that you sacrifice this one. And this moment is all you've ever truly owned. You'll start to see life differently. You'll hear a familiar laugh and actually let it land. You'll taste your coffee and not rush to the next sip. You'll look out the window and actually see the sky, not just use it as background noise. For your anxiety, this isn't about slowing down your goals. It's about waking up to the life already unfolding beneath your ambition. So here's what I need you to do. Tonight, before the world takes you again, sit still. Just for a minute, ask yourself the question Seneca did every night. Did I really live today? And if the answer is no, don't feel guilt. Feel resolve. Because tomorrow is unwritten, and the only way to honor it is to show up for it. Right now you're standing in the doorway of your own life. Don't keep walking past it. Stay. And just when you think you've figured out how to stop chasing the future, a different voice will arrive, one that doesn't warn you about time, but about your mind. That voice will come from the Buddha. You'll try to slow down, you'll try to be present, but you'll keep getting pulled away, not by your phone, not by the world, by your own thoughts. You'll be at dinner, and your body will be there, but your mind will be replaying something someone said last week. You'll hold your child, but your attention will be stuck on tomorrow's meeting, and you'll feel torn, like no matter where you are, you're always somewhere else. And you'll start to wonder, is this just how it is, to never fully arrive? Dear younger me, the mind will try to convince you that it's helping, that by rethinking the past and rehearsing the future, you're staying safe, that if you just worry enough, you'll gain control. But all it really does is keep you busy, while your life passes by, unlived. There's a teaching from the Buddha that saved me. He said, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. Not as advice, as liberation. Because what you'll come to understand is that your suffering isn't rooted in the moment itself. It's in your resistance to it, your judgment of it, your wish for it to be something other than what it is. There's a story from the old texts. A monk named Samidi is visited by a divine being. She asks him, why don't you pursue pleasure? He replies, I do not reject the present to chase what time will bring. I reject what time will bring to pursue the present. That one sentence will rewire your understanding of peace. You used to think mindfulness meant meditation, silence, sitting still with incense in a quiet room. And yes, it can be. But what you'll discover is that mindfulness can be as simple as feeling your breath while you wait at a red light, as simple as chewing your food without distraction, as simple as hearing your own footsteps while walking down the hallway. Because presence is not a place you go, it's the place you return to, again and again. One morning I was with my son. We were building something on the floor, but I wasn't really there. I was thinking about emails, deadlines, disappointments, until he looked up and said, Dad, are you listening? I wasn't. That moment will never come back. That's when I understood the Buddha's real message. That peace is not something you achieve. It's something you notice. And the only place you'll ever find it is here. He taught that your thoughts are like a river, always moving. But you don't have to jump in and be swept away. You can sit on the bank. You can watch them go by. And in that stillness, you remember. You are not the river. You are the witness. So here's what I want you to try. When your mind starts spiraling, don't fight it. Just pause. Take one breath. Feel it. Really feel it. Then take one more, that's all. No goal, no outcome. Just now. If you do that often enough, something incredible happens. You begin to feel yourself again. Not the version always thinking, always trying, but the one beneath all that. The one that's still, clear, present. You'll notice your shoulders unclench, your jaw softens, the noise quiets, and in that space, even if just for a moment, you'll feel something unfamiliar. Not excitement, not achievement, peace. And once you taste it, you'll never want to live without it again. But mindfulness doesn't stay with you just because you had a peaceful morning. It's a practice. And to keep walking this path, you'll need someone to show you how to bring that presence into the everyday. That's when a gentle teacher will step forward. His name is Thich Nhat Hanh, and he'll show you how to kiss the earth with your feet, You'll think peace means silence, stillness, solitude. But that's not true. You'll chase quiet places, book vacations, cancel plans, hoping that somewhere out there is a slower world you can finally belong to. But no matter how far you go, you'll carry the noise with you. Because peace was never out there. It was in the way you drink your tea. Dear younger me, there's a story you'll hear someday about a monk washing dishes, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He washed the dishes to wash the dishes. You'll roll your eyes the first time. You'll think, what does that even mean? But one night, years later, you'll be standing at your own sink. Dishes piled high, head full of noise, what you said today, what you didn't, what tomorrow might demand. You'll be rushing, like always, trying to get through the task so you can finally relax. And that's when the memory of that story will come back. Not as philosophy, but as instruction. You'll pause. You'll feel the water. Hear the clinking of plates. Notice the weight of the cup in your hand. You won't fix anything. You won't solve the future. But you'll finally arrive in the one place you were never taught to value. Now. That moment will change you. Because that's when you'll realize presence isn't just for monks or mountain retreats. It's for dishwashing, for walking, for waiting in line, for sitting in traffic. It's for your actual life. You were never supposed to rush through it all, just to collapse at the end. There's a teacher who will make this real for you. His name is Thich Nhat Hanh. He was quiet, gentle, soft-spoken, and stronger than most men you'll ever meet. He said, walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. And you'll laugh when you hear that, because you've been running so fast for so long, you've forgotten that the earth is even there. You don't walk, you stomp, you sprint, you treat every hallway like a countdown to the next obligation. But then one morning you'll slow down. You'll walk across your home without rushing. And in the space between steps, something sacred will appear. Stillness, grace, presence. Not because the world changed, but because you finally showed up for it. Thich Nhat Hanh said, our true home is in the present moment. To live in the present moment is a miracle. And you'll realize you've been homeless for years. Not because you didn't have a house, but because your attention never stayed long enough in any moment to let it become a home. You'll begin to bring this practice into everything. Brushing your teeth, holding your child, listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak. You'll start to live within your life, not around it. You'll also begin to see what your distractions have cost you. You'll remember holding your phone while your partner spoke. You'll remember speeding through bedtime stories to get back to your to-do list. You'll remember moments where someone needed your presence and you weren't there. But instead of drowning in guilt, you'll do what Thich Nhat Hanh taught. You'll come back gently, fully. Now, because that's the miracle, you can always return. Presence doesn't require perfection. It requires intention. And the smallest acts, done with full awareness, will become the most sacred. When you eat, you'll taste again. When you breathe, you'll feel life move through you. When you sit with someone, your eyes will meet theirs without looking past them. And in those ordinary moments, something extraordinary will happen. Time will slow, not because the world got less busy, but because you stopped rushing through it. This kind of mindfulness won't just change how you feel. It will change how others feel around you. People will sense it, the stillness in your presence, the calm in your words, the way you see them. and they'll soften too. You'll become, as Thich Nhat Hanh said, the one calm person in the boat. And that calm will steady everyone else. This isn't theory, this is practice. The kind that starts with your next step, your next bite, your next breath. So here's what I want you to try. Later today, when no one is watching, make a cup of tea, or coffee, or water, whatever you choose. But don't drink it to get to the next thing, drink it to drink it. Feel the warmth, smell it, taste it, sit down. And for those few minutes, let that be the only thing that exists. And if your mind pulls you away, which it will, gently bring it back. You'll be doing something that most people never learn how to do. You'll be living your life while it's actually happening. But as you deepen in presence, you'll start to notice something else. Even when the world gets loud again, even when stress returns, there's still a place inside you that stays calm. And when that realization comes, you'll meet your next teacher, an emperor, a warrior, a philosopher. And he'll remind you that peace doesn't just live in quiet, it lives in you. His name is Marcus Aurelius, and he'll help you find the calm that no one can take away. There's a moment when you'll feel like you've done everything right, and still everything feels wrong. You'll be reliable, productive, even admired. But inside you'll feel frayed, like a man doing his duty while slowly disappearing beneath it. That's the moment you'll start believing peace is impossible in a world like this. That stress is just the cost of being responsible. That exhaustion is proof you care. But that belief isn't strength. It's surrender to a life that keeps you busy so you don't have to feel. Dear younger me, you will try to create peace by changing the world around you. You'll chase the perfect routine, the ideal work setup, the right balance. You'll think, if I just organize everything perfectly, I'll finally breathe. But the world doesn't cooperate like that. And even when it does, your mind won't. You'll find yourself in the middle of a meeting, nodding, but barely holding it together. You'll lie awake at night, rehearsing problems that haven't happened yet. You'll become good at hiding your panic behind a schedule. Until one day life overwhelms your system. A crisis hits, something breaks, you break. And in that collapse you'll finally ask, how do I stay grounded when everything feels out of control? That's when you'll meet Marcus Aurelius, not in a classroom, but in the middle of your own private war. He ruled the Roman Empire during plague, war, betrayal, and loss. He had power, he had pressure, and in the margins of that chaos he wrote notes to himself, not to rule better, but to live better. He said, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." At first that won't make sense. You'll think, my soul is the least peaceful place I know. It's where all the noise is. But over time, you'll begin to understand. Marcus wasn't talking about escaping reality. He was pointing to a place inside you that doesn't flinch when life gets loud. A place that doesn't need conditions to be perfect to feel grounded. A place that's always there, even when everything else is falling apart. He called it the inner citadel, and you'll start to build yours. Not with stone or stoicism, but with one quiet question. What's in my control right now? That single question will save you. In a tense conversation, it will keep you from reacting. In a day full of unknowns, it will remind you to focus on the task in front of you. When your thoughts start spiraling into worst-case scenarios, it will bring you back to the ground beneath your feet. Marcus said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events, Realize this, and you will find strength. And you will. But that strength won't look like dominance. It will look like stillness, like a man who can sit in a storm and know he's not required to become one. You'll begin to notice how much energy you've wasted trying to control things that were never yours to carry. Other people's opinions, outcomes you can't force, time you can't rewind. You'll feel the weight of that leave your shoulders when you finally let go. And in its place, something unexpected will appear. Clarity. Not the kind that comes from a whiteboard or a journal, but the kind that rises when the fog clears. That clarity will tell you what actually matters. And it won't be perfection. It won't be winning. It won't be managing every variable. It will be showing up with presence, responding with intention, doing what you can, and releasing the rest. Marcus knew that life would never make room for peace, so he made space for it inside himself. He started each day with this reminder: today, I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful. Not to become bitter, but to stop being surprised, to expect difficulty and greet it with grace. You'll start doing the same. You'll prepare your mind before the day gets to it. You'll remind yourself that challenges are not interruptions, they are the path. And your job isn't to eliminate them. Your job is to meet them with presence. You'll begin to journal, not to perform, but to reflect, like Marcus, quietly, honestly, asking yourself what you did well, where you fell short, and how you'll return tomorrow. And with each page, with each breath, the walls of your inner citadel will grow stronger. You'll no longer be at the mercy of circumstance. You'll be the steady point in a spinning world. And when everything around you demands urgency, you'll become the calmest person in the room. Not because you don't care, but because you finally know what's worth your energy. So the next time life comes at you fast, stop trying to outpace it. Go inward. Ask, what's in my control right now? And build from there, because that's where your peace lives. Not in the silence after the storm, but in your ability to return to yourself while it's still raging. And once you know how to do that, once you've built that inner strength, there's only one lesson left. The most important one. It won't come from a Roman emperor or a Zen master. It will come from a man who sat on a park bench with nothing and found everything. His name is Eckhart Tolle, and he will show you that presence is not just a practice. It is the doorway to your true self. One night, long before you'll understand any of this, you'll sit in the dark, alive but not really living. Everything will seem fine from the outside, the job, the family, the routine. But you'll feel like a ghost in your own story. You won't be able to explain it. There won't be a crisis, just an ache. A silent, nameless ache. And you'll whisper something to yourself you don't even realize is a prayer. I can't keep living like this. That's when a strange new idea will enter your life. Quietly, like a breath, like a pause between thoughts. His name will be Eckhart Tolle. You'll read about how he reached his breaking point. A man lost in thought, haunted by the weight of his own mind, saying to himself, I can't live with myself any longer. And then he asked, who is the I? And who is the self I can't live with? That question will hit you like a thunderclap, because somewhere in your bones you'll recognize the same split, the same inner war. You've always assumed the voice in your head was you, but what if it wasn't? What if that voice The critic, the worrier, the planner, the doubter, wasn't your identity but your conditioning. What if beneath all that there was something else? Something quiet, something still? That's the shift. Tolle called it presence. He didn't invent it, he uncovered it. The way someone uncovers the sky by stepping out from under a roof. You've spent your life trying to fix your thoughts, manage them, negotiate with them. But no one ever told you that you didn't have to obey them, that you could witness them without becoming them. And when you learn that, really learn it, something cracks open, the volume goes down, the tension softens, not because the world gets easier, but because your mind finally makes space for what's real. You'll start to notice just how often you're gone, not physically but mentally, lost in past regrets, lost in future rehearsal. Entire days lived in imaginary timelines, entire conversations missed because you were too busy narrating them in your head. Tolle said, unease, anxiety, tension, stress, worry, all forms of fear are caused by too much future and not enough presence. You'll see it everywhere, in the way you rush through your morning, in the way you anticipate arguments before they happen, in the way you try to solve problems that don't even exist yet. And then one day you'll stop, not for long, just a moment, a breath. You'll feel your feet on the floor, the air on your skin, the sound of a bird outside the window. And you'll realize you're here, not in your memories, not in your fears, but here. A single moment will feel more alive than entire weeks of sleepwalking. And you'll begin to practice. So you'll start to notice when your mind drags you away. And instead of following it, you'll stay. You'll come back to your body, your breath, the stillness beneath the noise. Tolle said, you are not your mind, you are the awareness behind it. That awareness is not just peaceful, it's powerful. It's where all your clarity lives, your joy, your connection. Not in the story you're telling yourself, but in the space between sentences. And over time, you'll get better at accessing it. Not always, not perfectly, but enough to know it's real. You'll stand in line and feel grateful for the opportunity to practice. You'll be stuck in traffic and use it as an invitation, not an irritation. You'll listen to someone talk, not just hearing the words, but being fully with them. And in those moments, you'll touch something deeper than happiness. You'll feel peace, not as a reaction, but as your natural state, finally uncovered. Tolle said, whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. You'll test that, you'll struggle with it, but eventually you'll understand acceptance isn't weakness, it's presence without resistance. It doesn't mean you love what's happening. It means you stop fighting reality long enough to see clearly. And from that place of clarity, you'll act, not react. You'll respond, not panic. You'll create, not escape. That's what the power of now really means. Not that this moment is perfect, but that it's all there ever is. You'll realize that peace isn't found by doing more, becoming more, achieving more. Peace arrives the moment you stop waiting for the next moment to feel complete. And here's the wild part, you'll still have goals. You'll still work, still build, still grow. But now, you'll be doing it with presence, not instead of it. And everything will change. Not because your circumstances did, but because you did. Because you stopped looking for peace and started listening for it. And in that listening, you'll hear the one truth that unites every mentor who's ever guided you. This moment is not the means to something greater. This moment is the miracle. And once you understand that, there's only one thing left to do. Return. There will come a time when all the seeking will fall away. You'll stop chasing the next insight, the next quote, the next breakthrough. Not because you've stopped learning, but because you've finally come home. Dear younger me, you were never broken. You were just buried. Buried beneath deadlines, doubts, expectations, self-judgment. You were buried beneath shoulds and some days. Beneath a belief that who you are is never enough. But now you see it. Now you know that every voice you needed was never trying to add anything to you. They were trying to take something off, to unburden you, to bring you back. Seneca told you to stop postponing life. That later is where joy goes to die. Buddha taught you that peace is only found when you stop arguing with reality. Thich Nhat Hanh showed you that presence can be practiced in the smallest, quietest of ways. Marcus Aurelius reminded you that even in chaos there's a citadel inside you that no one can touch. And Tolle? He gave you the final key. He showed you how to unlock the door, the one that always led back to this breath, this heartbeat, this now. And in that now, you saw it all clearly. Not as a lesson, not as a quote, but as your life. You remembered that the coffee you drank, distracted, was still coffee, but it could have been joy. That the hug you rushed was still affection, but it could have been a moment that stopped time. That the walk you took while looking at your phone was still movement, but it could have been peace. And you realized it's not that life was ever lacking. It's that you weren't there for it, but you're here now, and that changes everything. Because presence isn't passive. It's not sitting back watching the world go by. It's the opposite. It's leaning into life. It's being so fully here that even ordinary moments become sacred. It's realizing that you don't have to become someone else to feel whole. You just have to be where you are. And where you are is enough. So take a breath. Right now. Feel it. You don't have to run anymore. You don't have to fix what already passed. You don't have to control what hasn't happened yet. You're here. And here is the only place peace has ever lived. This is your home. This is your life. This is the moment that was waiting for you to remember it. And now that you have, don't forget. Don't leave. Stay.